Good afternoon and welcome aboard the Jumbo Express. My name is Alex, I'm a presenter here at the zoo, and I'll be with you on your journey around the track to tell you about some of the animals you'll see. But first of all, if I could just ask everyone to stay seated throughout, keep their arms, legs, necks, cameras, children and everything else inside the carriages at all times. And as we come up on the left-hand side underneath the footbridge, we have our farm. And if you haven't been to the farm yet, it's well worth a visit, as it's the only place in the zoo you can get hands-on with the animals. We have goats, rabbits, guinea pigs, ferrets, and even rats. So please do go on down after the train.
Not rats, because those are bad.
As we're coming up on the left-hand side in the back paddock, it looks like we have some of our llama. The llama are used in England, in the UK, as pack animals to try and keep predators away from livestock in farms. We also have some alpaca rounds, it looks like. They're the smaller looking ones out of the llamas. And the alpaca's wool is said to be so soft that people use it in fine garments. And if we're lucky, coming up here on the left hand side, you might be able to see some of Darwin's rhea. Do look out though, because they like to camouflage against the fence, so keep your eyes out. Are we lucky? There they are, just between the fences. Darwin's rhea. They're small flightless birds similar to an emu and ostrich, but much smaller. They come from South America and they can run up to speeds of 37 miles an hour.
Wow.
And as you can hear that noise, that means we're entering the train yard. This is a very important part of the journey, as this is where the trains go to sleep every night and are maintained on a regular basis. And as you're coming up on the left-hand side, you can see the heap of coal. That's good British coal sent to us all the way from sunny Wales. And as you go past, you'll see 30 buckets of coal, and that's to show you how many it takes a day to keep our steam engines going. Today we are in Superior. Superior is 96 years old and weighs about 18.5 tons. However, Superior is not the oldest steam engine we have here. We have Excelsior. Excelsior is 108 years old. And Excelsior weighs about 12.5 tons. And if we're lucky, our driver and fireman up the top might be able to turn around and give us all a big wave. Way unlucky, they didn't wave this time. Maybe they will in a little bit. I'd rather them keep us on the track. But as we're coming up on the left hand side, you can see Victor. Victor is one of our diesel engines, and it's useful having a diesel engine on site as it starts up a lot quicker. It can take up to about 3 hours a morning to get our steam engines running and ready to go around these tracks. We cover about 7,500 miles a year on these tracks, which is about the distance from whipsnade to New York and back. At this point, I'd like to point out to everyone to keep their eyes out for our Bennett wallaby. It's Joey season, and you may be able to see a Joey in the pouch. They're free roamers, so they could be anywhere along this part of the zoo, and you may have seen them in other places in the zoo as well. But do keep your eyes out, because if you see a Joey, you will be very lucky today.
Whoa.
When Joeys are born, they're about the size of a baby bee, with a very small indeed. And in the first few hours of their life, they have to try and climb up into their mother's pouch all by themselves. Not the easiest thing to do when you're only a couple of hours old. So do keep your eyes out for those, and we have some other free roamers in this part of the zoo as well, so keep your eyes out. But as we're coming up here on the right hand side, it looks like we have our elephants.
Elephant Jim on the right.
Do keep your eyes out and see if you can spot Emmett. Emmett is our male bird elephant. We have Asian elephants here and whipsnade and African elephants. You can tell this by the size of their ears. African elephants have much larger ears than that of the Asian elephant.
Can you see elephant over
It
there?
looks like Emmett is here on the right hand side, facing towards the train. And as you can see, there's Emmett just here on the right with his large tusks. The females of the Asian elephant do not have tusks, they have something smaller called tushes. Here we are, Emmett on the right hand side. However, African elephants, both the female and male have tusks.
This is Asian
And on the right
elephant,
hand
yeah?
side, it looks like, oh, we're going past some wallabies on the left as well, so keep your eyes out. But on the right hand side, you can see that construction.
Look.
That's the new barn and enclosure for our elephants. So
Oh
they
my
have much
God.
more space than they currently do. And here, just on the top of the hill, you saw it running over, was a Chinese water deer. But do come back, because that should hopefully be
Water
open
deer.
the next year, and it means you can get up closer to our elephants. And on the right hand side here, it looks like there's an elephant coming to say hello. And do keep your eyes out for, oh, there he is, Sam. Small elephant, he's only about 18 months old. And do keep your eyes out, because about 2:30 every day, our elephants go for a walk around the zoo. So keep your eyes
Can you
out
see that?
around the zoo for our elephant walk. And if you go past it here, you can see Sam on the right hand side, just behind the other elephants there in the middle. Oh, and here on the right we have some Mara, these little hair-like creatures on the side. They're Patagonian hares, known as Mara. And once they mate for life, so you quite often see them running around in pairs. Oh, this looks like George and Scott here on the right-hand side, just having a bit of fun with each other. But the Mara have a very neat trick, and they're able to weave backwards. So don't go chasing those Mara, otherwise you might need a shower very, very quickly. And here on the right hand side we have some more wallaby. Oh, we're going to be lucky today. Let's have a look at those pouches. Oh, we're lucky today to see a Joey.
Joey there, Tim.
No, unfortunately doesn't look like. Oh. And this point on the right hand side, right up at the top, you can see our Asian rhino, the great one-horned rhino. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Barley is out at the moment. Barley is the smallest of our rhinos. He's about 6 months old. So please go there and have a look afterwards. Our rhino skin is about 4 to 6 centimeters thick, and this is so they don't be bitten by insects in their natural habitat. And on the left-hand side, you can see Pepper. Pepper is our young Bactrian camel. There she is. She just sat up. She, for some reason, likes to stay amongst the yak instead of the camels. And her mother's just there, always keeping an eye on her, just on the side. But that's Pepper. She's only about a month old. And as we went past the yak, they're one of the hardest animals we have here at the zoo.
Them camel, look.
Sherpas use them up in mountains where vehicles can't go. And if I could just remind people to please stay seated, especially at this point, because a lot of the animals are near the track. And we may have to come to a stop, so please keep safe. But if you can see our Bactrian camels here on the right hand side. If you look very closely, you might be lucky enough to see their very long, lush eyelashes. There's 2 rows of eyelashes, and they help them in the desert when there's sandstorms. In the desert where they come from, in the Gobi Desert, temperatures can range from -40 all the way up to +40, so they're quite happy here in moderate British weather. And as we're going past here on the left and right hand side, you can see a very special breed of deer indeed. David deer. In the early 1800s, a French priest called Father David went over to China where he saw these deer, and he liked them so much he brought them back with him. And it's a lucky thing he did, because soon after they went extinct in the wild. And just here on the right hand side, as we're coming over the bridge, you can see one of our males. And if you look at his antlers, you can see some velvet. That velvet helps his antlers to grow strong and quick, because they need to do this every day. Not every day, every year, sorry. Unlike that of an antelope keeps its horns for life, whereas a deer have to regrow them every year. So do be careful here, because we do have to stop sometimes, because the deer do like to run across the tracks. We're currently just going over our Ha-Ha bridge. Our Ha-Ha bridge is what farmers and others use to keep livestock in their land. It drops off at the end and has a very small entrance. But here we are, entering the deer park. We have several types of deer here at whipsnade. The swamp deer is the largest of our deer, and it looks like you can see them on the left-hand side, just over by that lake. You can tell them apart from the other because they are quite significantly bigger. And they have a very quirky feature as well. They have split hooves that are webbed. This is to help them in the swamplands where they come from. We have various other deer here. We have fallow deer, we're here on the left-hand side. We also have an antelope which likes to walk around with our deer, so keep your eyes out to see if you can spot the antelope. But coming up on the right-hand side, you can see a very special breed of horse indeed. They're truly the only wild horse left. They are Shabowski horses. They have never been domesticated or partially domesticated. And if you were lucky enough to come here before and see Priscilla, one of our Shabowski horses, you'll notice she's no longer here with us. And that's because she's been reintroduced into the wild. Then in the early 1900s, there was only about 12 of these horses left in the wild. But Priscilla's back there now, and she's doing well. And we can tell this through modern conservation technology. It's thought there's about 1,500 now in the wild. But it's not an easy feat to get a Shabowski horse back into the wild, and they need to be dropped in the middle of the Gobi Desert. And this actually requires the help of the military to be able to do so. And do keep your eyes out for our access deer. They do like to hide, but if you saw our access deer, you will notice them. They're said to be one of the most beautiful deer in the world, and said to be the inspiration for Walt Disney's Bambi. So keep your eyes peeled for those. On the right-hand side here, we have our sloth bear enclosure. It doesn't look like a sloth bear out at the moment, but it's well worth a visit. Because there's only 5 sloth bear in the whole of Europe. We have 3 here at whipsnade. So unless you go and see them here, you'll have to fly all the way over to Moscow to see any more. So they're well worth a visit. Our sloth bear have about 9 meals a day. That's not because they eat too much, but it's because, like in the wild, their food would come around little and often. So they use their good nose to try and seek out the food in their enclosure. And as we're coming up soon to the tunnel, I would ask everyone just to stay seated, keep your arms in, heads in, children in, cameras in, and the tunnel can get very, very narrow. I'd also like to ask at this point for everyone to do their best steam train impressions as we go through the tunnel. Woo-hoo! I'm sure we can do better than that. Let's try that again. Woo-hoo! Yeah, let's keep that going through the tunnel. Woo-hoo! Adults as well. Woo-hoo! And if you look on the left-hand side in the distance, it looks like you can see our male ostrich is sitting down. You can tell it's our male ostrich because of the black feathers. And do keep your eyes out for the female ostrich as well, because their feathers are more brown and grey. And this is coming up on the left-hand side. They're brown and grey, and both of their feathers are due to camouflage. The female sits on the nest during the day and the male at night time, so it helps stop them getting seen by predators. And here on the right-hand side as you go past, you can see plenty of geese with black markings on their heads. They are bar-headed geese, and they're very impressive indeed. They can fly higher than Mount Everest at speeds of 150 miles an hour using jet streams up in the mountains. So very, very impressive birds indeed. And now as we're coming back into the station, if I can ask everyone to stay seated until member staff can come and open the doors. And please be careful of the gap between the train and the platform. Please do remember all your belongings and rubbish. My name's Alex, I'll be here at the end if you have any further questions. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day at whipsnade Zoo. Thanks
You're
again.
finished now. Wow, we are stopping now. That's where we started from. You enjoy it, okay?